So
Yes.
put the bell off.
Hello and welcome to the News Minute. I am Dhanya Rajendran. Joining me is Rajya Sabha MP and the Parliamentary Party Leader of the TMC in the Rajya Sabha, Derek O'Brien. Also in the screen is Shabir Ahmed, my colleague. Mr. Bryan, what is happening in the Parliament? Third day looks like a washout. Absolutely no discussions happening. What are we seeing happening in the Parliament?
Well, so far the only speech I've made in Parliament is yesterday when I got the Parliamentarian of the Year award, but that wasn't in Parliament. That was outside Parliament. I managed to speak 2 minute acceptance speech. No, on a more serious. Oh, by the way, here this is the trophy. Okay, yeah, get it.
Congratulations, best
Thank you.
parliamentarian in the Rajya Sabha.
Yeah, but it's a very heavy trophy, like literally. So it's been 3 days. You're right. And I think the government have made up their minds. They don't want parliament to run. So day one, day two, and day three, MPs from the BJP are getting up. The chairman today of Rajya Sabha told the leader of the house that please control your embrace. But it's very, very clear. It works like this that, the government is responsible to parliament is responsible to the people. So government, parliament, people. The BJP have figured this out that if they disrupt parliament, then they, the government, who are responsible to the people through parliament, then they are not responsible and answerable to anybody. So this is the strategy, and this is not even a BJP strategy. This is specifically a Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah strategy. I would imagine after I think one of you is based at Dhanya or Shabir, you are based in Chennai and Bengaluru. So I think the story started there where the Prime Minister went and said something. That has become the story now in Parliament. We want the real issues to be discussed and deliberated. And we have uh, multiple parties, but at least on a half a dozen issues, there's broad agreement. State Bank of India, LIC, linked to the risk of these two companies in Adani. That's one issue. The second issue, and it's not in a particular order, it's the economic blockade of the states, the anti-federal policies, it's the excuse me, it's jobs, it's price rise of LPG and other essential items, it's going into the borders and the BSF extending the borders. That's another other issue of border security. So these are women's reservation bill, which was promised by the BJP at the 2014 manifesto. BJP do not want to discuss any of these issues. So what do? They come up with this tactic. Our own MPs. This is actually I maybe have a maybe smiling a little or smirking a little when I'm discussing this, but this is a very serious issue. Very serious.
Also, Derek, is Rahul Gandhi's speech the only issue, or is the government trying to, run away from the other key issues that you mentioned, particularly the Adani Hindenburg report? The opposition, the entire opposition, is demanding a JPC. So, to try and
No,
deflect the attention from that particular issue, is the government adopting the strategy? Because we have
sure.
seen opposition parties disrupting parliament, but this is the first time that the government is doing it, which is actually very strange.
So, two parts to your question. The entire opposition is not demanding a JPC. Let me clarify. The opposition together, all opposition parties, are demanding an inquiry. And my party has taken a clear position on this with no disrespect to other parties who prefer a joint parliamentary committee. We are on record and we are willing to debate this. The joint parliamentary committee will only put the entire issue, sweep it under the carpet. That's why we wanted SC monitored probe. We've got that. It's not the best thing possible, but we've got that. Now, that still doesn't stop. That still doesn't stop the House discussing the LIC SBI risk. We think that's the bigger people issue. So for us, 1A, 1B is that linked to Adani. But there are 6 or 7 other issues. You've got to understand the basis of how this works. Parliament, opposition must have its say, and the government, because they have the numbers, will have the way. Modi and Shah actually want to turn the Parliament of India into a deep, dark chamber. It's very, very dangerous. If you look at the way privilege motions are being targeted, are being shot on opposition MPs, it's not only the CBI or the ED. Today, if you're an opposition MP, high chance you'll get a privilege motion. If you're a minister, like the Minister of IT, he went and said, the data privacy bill is through. 100% privilege, but nothing happens. So the situation is serious. And I think one of the reasons I'm on your platform is the News Minute, is because the media, not the journalists, the media owners, print, television, have to play a role. Because if they are not going to play a responsible role, MPs, Parliament, limited.
So, but what is the strategy here? In the sense that the BJP definitely looks like it does not want the session to continue. And if they continue to disrupt Parliament for many more days, what is the strategy that you would deploy? Or is there a strategy at all?
Yes, so the strategy we have to deploy is very simple. And we've got to take it literally one day at a time, 1 week at a time. And I can only speak to as a member of the second largest opposition party. I don't have a brief to speak on behalf of the entire opposition. That would be very cocky and arrogant on my part. So as far as the TMC goes, yes, our strategy is very, very clear, that we get an opportunity to speak to journalists like you who are still doing journalism with spine, and we tell you straight up, we will find ways to tell the people of India that these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people issues which we're going to discuss, but muzzled. So our voices are being muzzled. Who is muzzling the voices? The BJP. Who is standing up and shouting the slogans? The BJP. Who is disrupting Parliament? It's almost like orchestrated by, but see, listen, when I say BJP, I don't actually mean the ministers. I don't mean the MPs. This is a two-man show. This is a two-man show. And Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah, they don't want this institution of Parliament to, very good with a new building, that will be very nice. We'll have very good Wi-Fi and we probably can, we'll have a reclining seat. But the institution of Parliament is under threat. Now, there are opposition parties. We can say, hands up, we give up. No, that's not going to happen. We have to use different tactics. Let me give you an example, and the example is not from my party. There was a Congress MP, a lady from Maharashtra. The Sangsad TV is censored. They'll never show opposition MPs in the well. They'll never show. So when opposition MPs are protesting, what do? So this MP, allegedly, I'm not saying she did, but some MP used an innovative way and shot some of the footage. Now they put a privilege motion on her and suspended her. But MPs, if you change the rules of Parliament, then MPs will also try and find new ways to express themselves. Like today, an MP from the second largest opposition party is on a platform, is on a news platform, who's having a 15-minute interview with me. You can ask me all the difficult questions. But there are media channels who've gone. I said this yesterday when I received this parliamentary award. Owners of the media channels have to stand up. I'm not saying you have to become lackeys of the Trinamool Congress or the AAP. Come and present both sides of the story. And the biggest culprits here actually in this, BJP, you can expect them to be. The biggest culprits here are the so-called big boys in the media. I don't want to embarrass you on your channel to name this, but Bennett Coleman, for example. I can name them, Bennett Coleman. I call it the J style of journalism. You figure out what J stands for. That's a unique school of journalism. Let me give you a little statistic. The Times of India, the world's largest newspaper, here's a stat. Find out in the last 5 years, they have 2 editorials a day. So that's about 350 editorial in the year. So 5 years will be how much? 700 into 5, 35. No, 700 into 5, 3,500 editorials. Think about it on the 2 pages of Times of India, because we're talking about opposition, unity. These are small. This is the real number of Times of India. out of 3,500 editorials, op-ed and the two editorials, you will not find more than 5 out of 3,500 written by opposition MPs. When I say opposition MPs, means seriously in opposition. I'm not talking about one, person who's leaving. Yeah, I can tell you maybe 5 out of 3,500.
Hmm.
And I've taken the example of the Times of India because people don't want to mention. People don't want to mention. Now, this is this kind of brand of the J school of journalism. Not good. We have to call out the media owners. You know how difficult it is for these 12, 15 opposition parties like us. We have the BJP to take on. 98% of all these cases are against opposition MPs, CBI, ED. That day, Aam Aadmi Party had a press conference, which was very interesting. They put out the per party how many cases. Trinamool was top of the list. We had 30 cases against us. Congress had 27 cases, and so on and so forth. So on one side, you're taking on the government, and on the other side, people, when I hear, oh, Mr. Brand, opposition unity. Arey Baba, opposition unity will first come. Opposition unity is there on most issues. Tactics may be different, but the media has a very important role to play. And I can only humbly appeal to all my colleagues from other parties in the opposition. If we want to fight this and we fight the good fight, go on to the platforms, go on to the digital platforms, express yourself there. Young people are on Instagram. Don't wait to be invited for some conclave of some media house. I'm not being condescending the News Minute. I'm not being condescending, and I don't mean to sound condescending, but more power to you guys.
You said that Mr. Amit Shah and the Prime Minister want to reduce the parliament to a deep, dark chamber. Now, my doubt is the BJP has been in power since 2014. We have seen so many parliament sessions. There must be something which disturbs them highly this session that they do not want any discussion. What, according to you, is that?
I'm going to answer your question, but since you mentioned 2014, let me give you 2 or 3 quick stats. Before 2014, by the way, Trinamool was not part of that government, so I'm not here to defend UPA 1 or UPA 2. Before 2014, what were the numbers earlier? About 60%, give or take a few percentage points, about 60% of bills were scrutinized. In other words, they went to a standing committee or a select committee of parliament, 60%. That number is down to 13 to 15%. 1 out of 10 parliamentary bills are scrutinized. Number 2, and from my old quiz days, we've had a solid research happening here. Number 2, an average, this is law passed in parliament, in the great Indian parliament, takes 10 to 12 minutes average per bill. Now, what is that? These are the 2 facts. Now, what will happen? You keep disrupting. They will disrupt. My prediction is they'll disrupt. BJP will disrupt till the end of March. Then you'll go to the last 2-3 days and they will quickly pass 5 or 6 bills in the din. And my last example to show where we've reached. If a bill is being passed, even if one MP, forget about TMC, which has 40 MPs in 2 houses, even if one MP puts his hand up, I'm asking for a division. That means I can have a vote. It's my right. Even one MP. That doesn't happen. It happened on the 3 farm bills. Bulldoze. These are numbers. Where is the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha? Where is he or she? 2019 May was the election. It's coming close to 2023. Can you imagine the Parliament of India, this 56-inch government with 300 seats in Lok Sabha, can't select a deputy speaker?
So, what do you think is the reason? Like Danya asked earlier, what is that one particular thing that is disturbing the BJP, that they don't want? They are okay with disrupting an entire parliament session.
Any issue where they have to be answerable to the people. So let me quickly go through any of these 7 issues. 1, LIC, SBI risk linked to Adani. 2, center-state relations or the lack of them, and how the federal structure is being crucified, ruined. 3, price rise, including LPG. 4, political vendetta, where 98% of the arrests happen only on opposition parties. 5, women's reservation bill, bring it on, it's in your election manifesto. These are all these issues. All these issues do not want to be discussed. Anything where Modi and Shah is answerable. But this is like a classic case, and I have a lot of respect for event managers. They do good work. But when a union government of India becomes an event manager, then it's a serious crisis. And these are rights and privileges of MPs, which, I mean, it's very, very scary. But the good news is that if all was so hunky-dory, why then you feel so scared to try and make parliament so irrelevant? It's the same. Trinamool has, how many MPs we have? Close to 40 MPs. How many chairmen we have of standing committees? 0. India. This is the way. I mean, it's quite. There's I don't want to get technical. But I know, and I'm saying this with a lot of responsibility. Here's how it works. Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah take a call that parliament will not run. Then you go to Bengaluru and you make a statement. Okay, you make a statement, and based on that statement, the parliament direction is taken. And that's it. Do BJP MPs, most of them, 90% of BJP MPs, do they read the bill? If they read the bill, they would not have brought that. What was the problem with the land bill? What was the problem if they sent it first to a committee? Eventually, what happened? After all that pain you gave our farmers, you had to withdraw the 3 bills. There also there was a problem. What did the opposition demand? We demanded, if you're withdrawing the bills, please allow us a chance to speak. What can be better? We've given you, not Trinamool only. You look at any of the 6 or 7 subjects which are given. Let me give it to you in a summary. There are about 14 working days left for Parliament. I don't count the Fridays because that's private members' bills. Of those 14 days, let's assume you take 7 days for your legislation. Bring your legislation and we'll debate the legislation and pass. If it's good legislation, or have it go to a committee. The second part, on the other 7 days, let us debate, deliberate. That's the issue. So the young people of India have to know that it's the BJP which is disrupting Parliament. It is Modi and Shah who, on one side, they will give you a new Parliament, and I have nothing against the new Parliament because I haven't even seen it, but the real soul of Parliament is being turned into a deep, dark chamber. Nice conversation. We are like, I'm enjoying it, so I hope you guys are too.
No, we have 2 more questions actually. I'll ask mine. So that, though you have laid out all the problems that are happening and how the opposition is actually in a logjam in the parliament, is there any strategy? Because many times the criticism is also that the opposition does not come together, that it is also fragmented heavily, and therefore there's no real plan to counter the BJP, which has brute numbers in the parliament.
Let me give you an example, not of last week or yesterday, today. Today, 2 p.m., Parliament started. Okay? The chairman came in. Every single member of the opposition, 16, 17, 18 parties, every single member of the opposition, this is coordination, this is also opposition unity, was sitting down. Nobody said a word. The BJP MPs got up. Slogan. What was the slogan? They raised a slogan. Acha. The chairman tells the leader of the house, please control your MPs. The slogans continued. The house is adjourned. End of story. That's opposition unity for you. Opposition was sitting quietly. Tomorrow we'll come up with another strategy. I think too much of airtime, too much of analysis is going to opposition unity. But since you asked me about opposition unity, let me answer about opposition unity. Where was opposition unity when the BJP got thrashed in May 2021, not too long ago, in Bengal? Trinamool Congress got 220 seats, and other opposition parties fought separately and ended up with 0 seats. BJP were reduced to 60, 70 seats. Where was the opposition unity? But the job was done. In Maharashtra, there's opposition unity. The Congress, the Shiv Sena, and the NCP are working together. In Tamil Nadu, the model of the opposition is in place. In Bihar, the opposition model is in place. No opposition party is going to Madhya Pradesh or went to Himachal Pradesh to fight BJP. Congress have to do the job there. In Karnataka, where you live, Dhanya, what will happen there? Is Trinamool Congress going and hassling anybody there? No, the Congress have to win Karnataka. But these are the realities. And the Congress party also have to understand, when we say opposition unity, it's a unity of equals. Because you fought us in Bengal. We took on the BJP and Modi and Shah. Mamata Banerjee got 220. You came after Abhishek Banerjee, our National General Secretary, with ED, CBI, everything. Congress and CPM ended up with 0. So we didn't say, oh, you came, you fought, it's your right to fight. It's okay. You lost very badly. So we cannot have a set formula. I really believe that the 2024 election will be an aggregate of state elections. Aam Aadmi Party have to do well in Delhi. They've got to win close to 7 of those seats. And I think everybody in the opposition will be, Akhilesh Yadav has to take the lead in Uttar Pradesh. In Telangana, if we say that X or Y is the face of the Prime Minister to take on Mr. Modi, no, it's great. Mr. KCR in Telangana is the best bet to take on the BJP government. So it has to be an aggregate of state elections. It cannot be this one Mr. Modi against somebody else, whoever that person is. We say no to that, because then it becomes presidential. And that, from a clear political strategy point of view, when you make it presidential, that's exactly what the BJP want. So if you go to Meghalaya 6 weeks ago, you saw Mr. Modi's pictures everywhere. How many you win? You win 2 MLAs. Then you go there and form the government, but that's a whole story. I think we overplay opposition unity. Opposition is united in most places. There are 16, 17 different political parties. But on a couple of issues, there's total agreement. Like on the agreement was an inquiry. Trinamool had a different view on the inquiry. Congress had a different view on the inquiry, but the inquiry was needed. I hope I
But since you said that 2024 must be an aggregate of state elections, when you described it, there's a dish in Kerala called avial, where you put a lot of vegetables in it and boil it. It's almost like not a khichdi, but it's just a lot of vegetables inside. So the problem, how do you sell that to the public, that every state can be voting for a regional party, because eventually everybody is looking at longevity of the government, right? People want a government for 5 years, and they think that why should we have an avial or a khichdi? Why not have one party and one government?
Fair question. Let me try and answer it. On a broader issue, what are the common issues which we can all agree on? Can we all agree on that one book, not any cookbook of avial or khichdi, which I enjoy both dishes, even though I'm a little more non-vegetarian, but will do. And I see where you're coming from. One book, that's the Constitution of India. India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. So you cannot go around when you say double engine, that is anti-constitutional con. It's an anti-constitutional argument. What are you trying to tell the people of Meghalaya? That you small state, you chota parties and your small parties, regional parties, vote for me, then I will take care of you. If you can do this to a big state like Bengal or Tamil Nadu, or Maharashtra. So the concept of a double-engine sarkar or double-engine government is a con. It's conceptually a con. And if you really look at the numbers, beyond all the hype and the advertisements and the advertorials which television channels are running, and I'm glad young India is moving to digital platforms like yours, it is that which is the issue. You come and talk to me about facts. You come and talk to me about facts. And you come and talk to me about my idea, which is in the constitution. I mean, if you tell me that 25th of December is Good Governance Day, I don't have to respond to you as a Christian. I have to respond to you as an Indian, that religion is private. Festivals are for everyone. If that sounded profound, well, don't credit me. Religion is private. Festivals are for everyone. Our chairperson, Mamata Banerjee, these are her lines. So if you want to come and change that BJP, this won't do. Nor will what won't do is because you pile on to a minority community and you hope that if I react, then what will happen? I will displease the majority. This politics will not work, at least from the Trinamool Congress point of view. We look at it as saying, let's make the constitution our guiding light. There's no compromise on the constitution. But then you're having Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. What is their understanding of the Constitution of India? Look back at 2002. Look back on the Gujarat Assembly is a very good example. The Gujarat model, which we call, is the assembly. Now they're trying to bring the same thing to Parliament.
Also, Derek, you spoke about agencies targeting only the opposition parties, and your party has the most number of cases, and leaders from your party have been targeted. I just wanted to know your reaction to TRS or BRS is now being targeted. Kavita has been summoned by the ED. She already appeared before them, and once again she has to appear most likely tomorrow. So what do you have to say about that, and in general about this thing of central agencies coming after all the opposition parties?
So the statistics are there for all to see. 98% are opposition leaders, and of course I know a lot of my friends in the opposition are now using this, and please feel I'm glad they're using this, but I would like to only sneakily take the credit for talking about the washing machine. And now washing machine has now come into our political discourse. I mean, I think international washing machine manufacturers around the world need to be a bit worried, because Shah and Modi, one the production manager and the other the marketing manager, they have come up with this washing machine. Today, the washing machine product is now the one of them is the chief minister of Assam. Another washing machine is the opposition leader in Bengal. There are a couple of washing machine products lying around which they cleaned up and they've sent to I've got in Maharashtra. We have many washing machine products. With all respect, they're all my colleagues in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So yeah, this is the washing machine model, and the best part of the washing machine model is, and in reality, in most things with Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah do, and this is not a personal attack on Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. I mean, that's not the politics the TMC indulges in, not in personal attacks. But just think about it, how brazen they are about it. You know, it's like completely, they're like brazen. I mean, that's what should really be, thinking about how much more brazen can it get.
Well, thank you, Mr. Derek O'Brien, for washing
We
machine.
finished. I thought this was an unending exam, but I must tell you, Dhanya and Shabir, sorry to have interrupted you. I really enjoyed this chat with the both of you, and my only regret is that maybe I should have come and had a chat with you guys maybe 1 year ago. It's been a fascinating chat. I hope I've answered all your questions to the best of my abilities. And thank you from all of us in the Trinamool Congress and our chairperson Mamta Banerjee and our General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee. Thank you and more power to you guys. We'll come on your show even when you criticize the Trinamool Congress, because that is your right, even to criticize us and ask the tough questions. But I think you guys have a huge role to play, to be courageous and to speak truth to power.
Thank you,
Well,
Derek.
we'll continue to do that, speak truth to power. In fact, I think that's the only reason why journalists should be part of this profession, why people should be part of this profession. So thank you very much. We spoke about deep, dark chambers, washing machine models, Avial and Khichdi. But at end of the day, all that we want is a democracy that functions. So hopefully the parliament will start functioning from tomorrow onwards. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.